Brother Zion, both of y'all, Vocab, y'all have done a great debate. We're going to ask you now, Vocab, to close out. You got 2 minutes to close out. You want to share your screen? What do you want to do? How you want to do it?
I probably won't share my screen, but it's 2 minutes, right?
Yes. Unless y'all want 3 minutes.
Whichever is fine. It's fine. Okay.
I'll give y'all 3 minutes because y'all did great. So I'll give y'all an extra minute.
All right, cool. Thanks. All right. I appreciate the topic being asked. It's an important question. Going in, I knew a few things might happen the way they did. Number one is that we'll be essentially answering two different questions, because I had a feeling, even though it said biblical Israelites of today, that it wouldn't essentially be read that way. It would be read along the lines of, who are the historical Israelites and am I related to them? That's a sort of how Zion Lexx approached the issue. I don't really think that was the question today. And there was a lot of unfortunate things. The debate could have been more academic than it was. Essentially what I was doing is showing big picture theology, meaning reading large swaths of scripture and show how they fit together within a larger narrative of what's happening in scripture. And that's an important thing for the believer in the Bible to be able to do, especially as it relates to promise and fulfillment. So number of times what I did is I pointed to the initial promise, which creates hope and expectation. And then after the promise is given, you see historical patterns that God sets up on purpose divinely. This is historical correspondence that gets created. And that's why you see types and antitypes. And my hope, because I did read Zion Lexx's books, that he would understand that, because at one point he mentioned David as an archetype. And I said, if he is able to grasp that hermeneutical concept, then we could have a fruitful discussion. I was disappointed, and I think I was wrong in my estimation of that. I hope that that changes in the future, because I think it could be a more profitable discussion if he's able to grow in that area, instead of relying on parlor tricks, which is partially what he did here tonight. And I think he's above that, but I don't think he's ready to grow out of it yet, because this could be much better. Nonetheless, I think it was still a good discussion, which I'd like to have something like this again, if possible. But this is important to understand. We got to start with Adam. And when we start with Adam, we see God's desire to be amongst his people. God walked in the garden. And then that gets imitated or replicated with the Exodus tabernacle among the Israelites, as Abraham is sort of a new Adam called out from the mass of Adam's descendants. This is made even greater with the Old Testament temple amongst the Israelites. And then clearly in verse after verse after verse, Christ replaces the temple as the place where God's presence especially dwells, and the place where forgiveness and atonement happens. Jesus literally says, I am greater than the temple. When I say Jesus, I can say Yeshua. I think since we all speak English, we should understand I'm using an English translation of a Greek word. That's all that is. We know the historical biblical person I'm talking about, or at least we should. Then you see it continue on with the church as the new temple, being described as the house of God, as living stones, as a place where God's presence dwells, as each individual believer. Then you see the final city temple in Hebrews 8 and 9 described, the city that Abraham himself was looking for, and Revelation 21, when God dwells with his people. This is the nature of the argument I made here tonight, which starts all the way back in Genesis and flows all the way to Revelation. It's a thoroughly biblical argument and is God's ultimate intention. When a person is interpreting scripture in an old covenant way, they're in the wrong time frame, because the Messiah has come. Unfortunately, it mainly wasn't that, because there wasn't much engagement with the text. I myself know no other way to answer the question, who are the biblical Israelites, without using the Bible. And last thing I want to say is, if you are a Messiah, then you are seen as being a true descendant of Abraham. And I implore the audience to be a Messiah tonight. Thank you.
All right. I gave you 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Zion, you got the same. And you're closing. All right. Let's go, Zion. Unmute yourself, Zion.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I also appreciate Vocab having the courage to take this debate. For a long time, I've called for a debate with him. I've reached out to him via social media and said that we should debate, or maybe even have discussions. And, you know, I would say we never got around to doing it, right? I also want to say that I appreciate that he made attempts tonight to address the actual topic. I think that as he made mention that it was conflated what the topic should be, but what's important to highlight is he literally just said that he acknowledged that there would be a disagreement on how the topic is viewed by me, so that I would be talking about the one thing and he'd be talking about the other. I heard somewhere that when there's a disagreement on what the topic is, the debaters usually call Sonetta and make sure that the other debater knows what we're going to talk about. So us coming to this event today, I'm almost clear that he knows. I didn't think that he was coming from a more Christological and just purely religious point of view. I thought that because of the question that he'd actually go into history, right? So I want to say that Vocab Malone, there's always another day. I applaud your attempt. I appreciate your candor, even the back and forth banter that has its place in debates, but you would definitely have to get your weight up. Right now, you'd probably be coming in weighing at about light featherweight, but you're in the ring with a heavyweight. This is the toughest environment, which means when somebody laughs in disagreement of a position you hold, there's no need for you to get angry and start to get upset and not hold to your character, especially when you continually exemplify throughout the debate that you're a Christian minister and that this is what you do and that I'm not holding to it. So thank you, Vocab Malone. I appreciate the attempt, but I would certainly say next time come better and maybe even come with more people, because you lost tonight and you lost horribly. When we're having a historical conversation, you have to come with history. I could have quoted the Bible from sun up to sundown. I have videos within a range of topics that I do that. But this topic was about history. Who are the biblical Israelites today? If you want to bow out gracefully and say that you thought that the topic was different from what Zion is addressing, it was on you to call Sonetta before the debate started tonight, since you said you acknowledged this before tonight, to be clear on what the topic is. When the topic started, you didn't say, I knew Zion was going to do that. So I just want to say, Vocab, hats off to you. Appreciate you having the gall, maybe even the audacity to jump in the ring with me. But I'm going to definitely need you to think about that next time. Peace.
All right, peace. Thank you, both of y'all. I appreciate both of y'all for tonight. And I'm going to say peace to y'all. We out of here. Catch y'all next time. Excellent.
Peace. Peace.
Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know?